Is there anyone in NBA history, forget about who could get hotter, who could get as hot as Klay Thompson? I think he gets hotter than any player who ever lived. When he's feeling it, on no dribbles, fills it up in the blink of an eye.
So I just want to state this because I think it's very important and it's personal for me. Because you guys know I've been through a lot of surgeries and things with my leg and things of that sort. Yo, to come back from a torn Achilles, right? Like we see Achilles wipe people out. I mean, even what KD's been able to do off a torn Achilles, that's one thing. But a torn ACL in combination with a torn Achilles, after not playing basketball for 2 years pretty much, this dude is back in the NBA Finals. And when you think about it, he's been to 6 straight NBA Finals straight. If you discount the 2 years he did not play. It's absolutely incredible. And we're going to talk about Steph. We're going to talk about legacy, top 10. We're going to talk about, dynasty for the Golden State Warriors. We're going to talk about the Celtics and the history with the Lakers and who has more championships. But this story will be so understated, the fact that he's in the NBA Finals and he may not be who he was 2 years ago, but to still be a version of yourself and to still have some of the games he's had.
It ain't a coincidence that he's back and they are.
It's so special.
But CJ, you said, right, be the guy he was 2 years ago. What I saw that last outing, what looked different?
On the offensive end.
Even on the defensive end, he was still cool.
Yeah, he was cool, but he was
defender.
the best. He was probably the best wing. He was in the conversation for best wing defender
of the guys who score. Yeah,
him, Kawhi, they were in that conversation.
True, but if you look at the last game out, I didn't see anything different. It looked the same to me. Offensive end and on it just didn't seem like he did anything different.
It's still it looks different to me because when Klay used to get up underneath you, he would be so fast laterally that you wouldn't be able to breathe, man. Like he was so good at that. And he can still get up underneath you through moments, but the lateral pop that he used to have was so elite. It's not there like it used to be.
The Achilles, what I noticed from the Achilles is
that's okay, though.
Guys can come back from it nowadays much better than they used to, except for Dominique was the one guy who could. Otherwise used to end careers. But where it affects them is on the defensive end. Even when they're willing to play it, they don't seem to be as good on the defensive end after that injury.
But here's the thing that makes you worried about the Warriors moving forward. And I've said this, like, we played our 2-on-2 game yesterday. I can't move the same way I moved, 19 years ago. But I can still shoot that thing very close to it, right? So when you have a handle and you can shoot that thing and you play continuity basketball, you can play this game a long time because you can space out the floor, and then you have the young pups and Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole that can open things up, get to the rack.
See,
it
that's
creates a different dynamic.
The big difference on this team to me of the non-KD Warriors teams, the only thing you could really do against those Warriors teams pre-KD was, and it's not that Klay can't handle and make decisions, he can. But if he's doing that, that's not exactly what you want as the Warriors, right? So if you could force Klay to put the ball on the floor and make decisions with the ball, and it's still not a great option, but it's better than other options, right? Now they have Poole and Wiggins. There are too many dudes who can do what you need them to do on that team.
See, I think what has happened to y'all, though, Jay, is because of his injuries, y'all looking at it and saying, you don't want him to do this, you don't want him to do that. He can't do this or he can't do that. I'm watching this dude from 2 years ago, and I'm watching him over the last several weeks. He looks like the same guy to me. He can put the ball on the floor if he needs to off a dribble. He can pull it. He can catch and shoot. He may not be getting all the way underneath guys yet, but I bet you in this series coming up against Boston, that's going to change.
There's an expression. It's a difference of degree, not kind. And I think that's what you're saying. Like, he's still Klay Thompson. You may say he's a degrees different than he used to be, but he's still basically Klay Thompson, right? He still shoots it. He's still willing to play defense. He's still long.
I think what I'm saying, I'm not saying that he's worse. I'm appreciating it.
No.
Like, because often to compensate off a torn ACL and then have a torn Achilles on different legs. Like, I'm sitting here applauding this man, and I'm saying even if he's slightly off with his lateral quickness, what he is doing deserves so much praise because it's phenomenal.
Here he is on – well, listen to Klay. Listen to Klay talk about this season right now.
A lot of us don't look back on 2019 and 2016 with great reverence. We kind of look back on it with a little more pain in our eyes and a little heartache because we know how hard it is to lose a Game 7 in the NBA Finals or a Game 6. So we want to obviously win the last game of the year, and then we can, that does mark a great season, obviously. But if we lose, it was still a good season, but it wasn't great.
I'm just saying, man, this dude was on the sideline. He was doing broadcasting. He talked about it. I know a lot of people very close to Klay, how difficult it was for him. And even think about the margin of getting to a championship game is so slim because when Klay came back this year, the same game he came back, his first game, is when Draymond went out. And then when Dre was coming back, then Steph went out due to the Marcus Smart diving on his leg. So it's been kind of disjointed for most of the year, but now they're actually healthy when it matters the most.
Kendra Andrews was on This Just In, 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN, yesterday, and told me she had spoken.
Say handsome host.
Well, I know I can rely on one of you to mention that now. And she had spoken to Draymond Green, and Dre, I thought, made a great point, as he often does, which is the Warriors teams in the past had veterans, but their best players weren't their most experienced players. Very good players on the team, like Iguodala, were experienced, but their very best. But now, their best players are also their most experienced players, championship tested. And in addition to that, they got young, athletic, supporting cast. It's going to be a problem.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.